Welcome to Well Rounded, a podcast about the people behind hospital medicine. And it's episode 2, and we are back for another run. Tonight, joining us is Dr. Gracie Ernstberger, a hospitalist who predominantly practices at Duke University Hospital in Durham, North Carolina. After completing her medical school at the University of Alabama, she then completed internal residency at the up-and-coming Alabama basketball rival, Duke University Hospital. During her residency, she had many great attendings and teachers. She also had me as one of her attendings. She is now a rising star here at Duke University Hospital, an expert hospitalist, proceduralist, and director of point-of-care ultrasound here at Duke. And as always, we're your hosts, Noah Ivy and Derek Pinkerton. And Gracie, we're very excited to have you here as our second guest ever.
Honored to be here with you guys.
Woo. Well,
thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell the listeners, there are a lot of listeners who won't know you. Tell us about yourself.
Sure. Thanks for that intro. Not sure where you got some of those facts. I did, in fact, grow up in Alabama, grew up in Birmingham. I come from sort of a massive family. I feel like that's a big part of who I am as a big sister. I'm one of 7. And so it's sort of insane, but I have one big sister and then 5 younger half siblings who are crazy and wonderful. And we keep each other, honest and humble. Played a lot of sports growing up. I'm pretty lanky, but I think that's all I really had going for me was my height. But I played volleyball, loved it, and then stayed in Alabama for most of my life. Did undergrad at Alabama when we were not a basketball school by any means. We were much more, it was the Nick Saban era. So I think had quite a few fun football games and did the whole SEC experience, and then went back to Birmingham for med school and found my way up to Durham and absolutely love the Triangle and love being here.
So did you play volleyball at Alabama?
Derek, absolutely not. Are you kidding? No, that's really generous of you. I did for a year and a half play on the club team in Alabama. And so we went to one travel tournament. We were self-coached. It was fun, but I did realize that a big part of why I loved the game was just my teammates. And so I kind of looked around and it wasn't the same. No, then intramurals are where I thrive now. So
okay, well, I mean, some of those, my wife played on the club lacrosse team at UNC, and those club teams are competitive. So I think
I wouldn't envision the same sort of level. I was on like the B team, and they were like, they didn't even have a B team. And then I tried out and they were like, yeah, she can be on that team. Yeah. Like it was not anything at all. We had like 4 practices. We had to like pay for our jerseys, and they like were 17 years old, and it was nothing particularly impressive, but it was fun.
Okay, sweet. Well, we heard you went on a trip recently. I'll let Noelle ask you some questions about that because she wants to hear about it.
Oh, yes. So, right. So we know that you went on a trip to Europe. Can you tell us why you went and where did you go?
Sure. I did sneak away from the words, and I went to Spain for like 10 or 2 weeks or something. Do I have to have a reason to go to Spain other than I just really wanted to? It's a pretty magical sort of trip. It's called the Camino de Santiago, which is like this hiking trip. If you do the total route, like start to finish, it takes 5 or so weeks, but obviously didn't have that much time. So I did just the first like 10 days of it. And I've done it before. This was my 3rd trip, but it's a kind of my happy place. Like it's a very peaceful, simple, kind of low stakes way to see the most beautiful countryside and meet a ton of cool people. So
awesome.
Yeah.
And who'd you go with?
Me, myself, and I.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? Kind of crazy. My family does not understand it, but the Camino is different. I wouldn't want to go to Europe by myself in general because I want to share experiences with other people. But I've been on the Camino with people and I've been by myself before. And unpopular opinion is that it's better when you're alone because you're more receptive to making friends with people than you would be if you already like had your people. Yeah. It's a very social experience. So
What do you mean by tell me what do you mean by the communa? Like what?
Oh, sorry. I'm not enunciating. It's the Camino de Santiago. So
Oh,
it's like
okay.
this like historic, traditionally like dated back to the 9th century, but it was a pilgrimage that people would make to Western Spain to see the remains of Saint James. So it started out as like a very Catholic, um, thing that like priests would go and like pay homage, and they would walk from southern France into Spain and go do that. But now in modern day, it's really, there's still some of those elements, but it's not like super religious by any means. It's more like a place where people go. It's a well-marked path. You're going through these teeny tiny towns and then staying in some of them, and they have like specific hostels that are just for like, they still call you like a pilgrim. Um, but it's a very well established, well known by locals, that you are on this path. And so every day people start in different areas, but um, I started at kind of the traditional like beginning point in southern France, and then you go into these like little towns and stay, and kind of you're traveling along with the same people every day, and so you start to make friends pretty quickly.
Can you tell us about some of those friendships that maybe you
Oh,
created along the way?
I miss them so much, because the sad
Oh,
part is that they all are still on it. So I'm still in the group chat, and I'll be rounding and they're like, where are we meeting for our Tinto de Verano, which is
Brutal.
like the little like, red wine spritz or something.
oh,
And it's brutal. But it it's lovely, the people that I met. Some of my best friends, one was like this Australian couple that they're like 60, but they're way cooler than me. And one guy was like a retired like famous rugby player, but like you would know it, and they were just like so friendly and lovely, and we like just would walk all day, and we would end up 20 miles later in the next town, and time would just fly with them. And then there's also like a fun, like younger group of folks that were from Norway, one was from Madrid, one was two were from Brussels, one was from Boston, but just like kind of a little group of 25 to 35 year old people who were like in between jobs or on a
oh,
sabbatical, or just got a divorce, or like whatever life event just happened where people have like 5 weeks to take off, and you become fast friends. Like they're just kind of like-minded, chill, kind of free-spirited people that appreciate kind of the little things. If that sounds cliche, but it's kind of the truth.
that sounds amazing. Um, Gracie, what was the most unexpected part of that journey for you?
It's hard because I had done it 2 times
Yeah.
before. I think I did sort of come in with high hopes. It had been 8 or 9 years since my last Camino, so I'm a different person than I
Oh,
was 8 or 9 years ago. I wasn't a doctor, hadn't lived all of this life, and so I think I sort of went in with the expectation that it may not be as good as I remember it, or trying to like manage that expectation that, hey, like you're not 22 anymore. But I think that what I found was I think the Camino can speak to you at any point in your life. And the people that you'll meet are always going to be exactly who you need to meet in that
oh,
moment. Again, as cliche as that sounds, I think if you're open minded and open hearted to just meeting people from all over, you're going to have a good experience. So I was pleasantly surprised that it was just as magical as it was 10 years ago.
significantly different, right? It wasn't the
It was
same journey.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a different journey. And I think um, and even like it was physically some of the exact same places. I stayed in some of the same places,
Mhm.
but it felt like I was experiencing kind of the beautiful scenery for the first time again. Like you remember how it made you feel, but it was as if like I had never seen it before. Like I just for the first time was like, oh my gosh, is this real? Like, is this a movie? I felt like I was, when things are so beautiful that you're like, this must be fake. It's
Yeah.
kind of like I still felt that way. So I'm glad the magic was still there.
Gosh. Would you say that you learned anything new about yourself and feel like you could share that with us?
I mean, always. I think it was a nice reminder, to be honest, of how little you really need to be happy. Since the last time I went on this, I think I went for 3 weeks and had like $300 and was like, here we go. You're going to do this like the super cheap way. You're going to stay in the free churches and all of that. And I had so much fun doing that. Now you're in attending and it's tempting to want to stay in sort of the nicer places or indulge a little bit more in kind of the things that can make it more comfortable along the journey. Like you can pay for your backpack to be sent ahead. Like how cool is that if you're like not having a good day? But
Be
I
tempting.
think like it was nice to be like, nope, I can still stay in the like 400-person bunk bed room where there's like a cacophony of snoring and there's like 2 showers and you have to like keep pressing the button to like keep the water going. Like I still got it. Like I'm still that girl and that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I like my things, but it was also just it was good to revisit and reground with that part of me. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. You know what I mean?
I'm too
Yeah.
basic. You had me sold on this trip till that 400 person.
Okay, Derek, but you don't have to do that. You don't have to. You can do the whole eat, pray, love during the day. And then at night, if you want to, you can stay in your little private room and have a private bathroom, and that's fine. And I think there's no right or wrong way, but I was just glad to see that as I kind of softened up, I was like, oh yeah, I'll stay in that little place.
That sounds more like me. I'm more of a glamper. I'm a glamper.
It takes all types.
Gracie, are the people that stay in the 400 bunk bedroom, do they look down on the like, oh,
On the Derricks of the world.
I have to have my own room space?
You know,
That's a
maybe
yes.
silently. No, but I feel like the spirit of the Camino is just maybe this is idealized, but it's pretty non-judgmental. Like I think like even if you're staying in like a nicer place, the shower is still this big, the water pressure is still like this, the food is still going to be limited because you're in like a 50-person town. Like it's not going to be this like luxurious experience, but I think I probably would have looked down on myself more if I hadn't been able to do the like, like I wanted to kind of just it's not roughing it. Like you have a roof over your head. You're so lucky, but but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Funny.
Mhm.
Did you see any cool wildlife out there? I guess I have this mental image of what it's like, but that might be completely wrong.
Wait, what's your mental image? What do you think?
It's like a path that is sort of dirt and gravel, and then on the sides of the path, it's like sort of deserty with trees. And then maybe if you look over one direction, there's sort of a plain that you can see, and maybe there's wildlife out there. I don't know.
That sounds lovely. And that's pretty accurate. Like
Okay.
you're going through different parts of Spain. And so the land gets very different. Like you're in Basque country, which is very like pasture, very like southern France, green, like rolling hills, sheep, horses everywhere. And then you go into wine country, which is like just vineyards after vineyards and just rolling hills, but it's dry. Like it's just like dirt and vines. And then towards the end, from what I remember, was much more like hilly, mountainous, but like wooded, like honestly, probably a little bit more like North Carolina, but on, steroids. So you get different scenery, depending on where you go along. But the week that I was there was the week that all of the wild horses gave birth. And so you would pass horse after horse and there'd be like a teeny tiny little horse with it or like a big pregnant horse that was about to pop. And a group that was like just behind me said that they saw a horse actually in labor, like delivering an actual horse. So that was cool.
So cool. What did you say? Wild horses?
I think so. I guess they weren't fenced in by any means. And it's not like they like wear a collar or anything. So I'm not, but they seemed quite free.
Whoa. Awesome.
Yeah. You could get pretty close to them too.
Do you think that this is an adventure that you would recommend to other people?
Oh yeah. I mean, you can make it a glamping experience, Derek. So I think like you could totally do it. I was talking to Peter Cusin at that one time, and he, you know,
The great Dr. Cusin.
the great Dr. Cusin. And I think I convinced him. I do. I think like if you are interested, you don't have to have 5 weeks off. But if you are someone that wants an adventure, that wants to walk like 15, 20 miles a day very slowly, able to stop at cafes and get your coffee in the middle of the day and your orange juice or whatever. I think anybody in our group would enjoy it, honestly. We're all like friendly, fun people. And I would totally recommend it. I mean, I'm going back. I'll see you there.
Mm. Did Peter say he wanted to stay in that big room with the 400 people?
No, he wants
Yeah.
to send his backpack ahead, which is like no hate, no shade. You can carry more and you don't have to like make it super hardcore. No, he wants to stay in the more like I have my private room, it's pre-booked and have my plan. But he's retired. He's deserved that,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
And it sounds like even though you've been before, you felt like it was worth it and you're going to do it again. Do you think it's also worth it to have worked 14 days straight in order to make that happen for yourself?
Nothing is certain. That was pretty poor planning. It was not just like the 14 days of rounding, but I was actually pretty petty and I went and like counted the whole month leading up to it. And I worked like 26 of those 30 days, which no resident is allowed to listen to this podcast because they're going to be like, oh, wow, you worked as much as I do and got paid. But like we all did it, but it's just different. And yeah,
You're old now. You're one.
I'm old.
You're one of the unks like
I'm
us.
soft. I just learned what unk was.
Yeah.
You're so cool.
I don't know what unk is.
It's like our listeners are going to be like he's proving his unk status by trying to explain what an unk is, but it's like a affectionate and somewhat making fun of term for uncle, like an old person who like tries to tell you what things are like but doesn't really know what's going on.
Yeah,
and it can be either sex, either gender.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Gracie can be an unk.
I'm totally unk. Yeah. Oh yeah.
My resident told me I wasn't unk yet today. I think he was trying to be nice to me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, you want to hear what the unk has to say? Well, that's awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah. So great. I'm glad you had a good time, Dixie.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You would love it, Noelle, I think.
I think I would too. I think I would.
I think you might have sold me. I'm gonna have to bring this up with my wife. I'll have to take a look at this. I'll have to look into this. We're always looking for hiking trips. Well, cool. Well, I mean, I think that's a really good segue. I don't feel like Gracie needs a whole lot of warming up, but Noelle shot me some ideas for rapid fire questions, and I really do want to hear your answer to some of these.
Okay.
They can be short answers, but I really do want to hear your answers.
Okay, ready? So you can.
And I will say too, Gracie, a lot of I offer for what we have two people have been on the podcast so far, but everyone I've offered to look at the questions, and Gracie did just like, okay, I'm just going to go and do it live, which is honestly when I do podcasts, that's what I prefer to do because I think it's more fun. So I'm very excited to hear the answers to these questions.
No, God. Okay.
So what I've learned on the Amy Poehler podcast that I listen to is that like these questions can be rapid, but your responses can be slow. So you can take as much time as you want, but you don't have to explain your answer, I guess.
Love it.
Okay. So what's the next destination on your travel wish list and why?
Wish list would probably be Asia, Japan for the food and culture shock. I want to go somewhere very different from where I've been.
What do you like to do in your spare time when you're not traveling?
I'm obsessed with my dog. Her name is Sister, and I got her in med school, and she is the light of my life. And so I'd stare at her, I'll hike with her, I'll cook food.
Stare at her.
Yeah, she's beautiful, Derek. I'll send you a photo.
Okay. What kind of dog? Sorry, I have to ask.
She's a rescue. She's a mutt. She's like kind of if you like shrunk a golden retriever. She's really beautiful. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm derailing rapid fire. Keep going.
Okay. What do you think you would be doing if you weren't a doctor?
Okay, realistically, if I like had to have a job, which I do. I can't just like live in my sister's basement. I I think I probably would be AP chemistry teacher. I'm pretty sure Parsa said bio, but I idolized my AP chemistry teacher, Dr. Kears. He was like an amazing man and made me like chemistry. So I would probably try to be like him.
Do you have any hidden talents?
No, I am so boring. No, I have nothing. I this is this is all
Well,
I
well, I
got.
mean, after hearing your description of the countryside, I think you could probably dungeon master my next D&D campaign. Like, I feel like
Nice.
definitely could do that.
I've never thought about that before.
Yeah,
You're
good
definitely a
description.
monk.
Yeah.
Cool.
What's your favorite food?
To eat or to cook?
To eat.
Probably pasta. Like, love any sort of noodle, cheese, meat situation. Yeah. Like, comfort food is 100% mac and cheese, but like good mac and cheese. But any sort of pasta.
I saw this one listed on the a nursing station at the DCT this week. What's the most overrated restaurant?
In Durham.
Actually, there are a lot of chain restaurants that were listed.
Okay, this is gonna get me some hate.
Oh, we like controversy on a podcast. We
Well,
like it.
maybe. I don't know. I feel like
It's good
people feel very
content.
strongly about Taco Bell. I'm not a big like I love some fast food sometimes,
Careful.
but I feel like people would die for Taco Bell. They're like, that is my like guilty pleasure or my whatever. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
You know, actually, this is a regular question from my original interviews that I did. Taco Bell came up a lot.
As overrated?
No,
Oh.
sorry. What is your favorite fast food?
Yeah. See, yeah, I don't get it.
I think there's some you can do interesting things to the order at Taco Bell that you can't do at other restaurants.
But customize it.
Customizing it. Yes. Okay. What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
It's not really a flavor, but it's sundae. Scoop of vanilla, scoop of chocolate, scoop of strawberry. Needs to have hot fudge, needs to have whipped cream, needs to have tiny peanuts, and it needs to have a couple of maraschino cherries. But that's it for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about your favorite season and why?
Probably springtime. I love, well, like every year I'm like, I don't have seasonal depression. And then like the sun comes out and I'm like, wow, life is amazing. So probably like just for the sheer like sunlight that we get and how like jarring that is. But also just like the fresh seasonal vegetables, the farmers market starts to pop off. There's just like, yeah, there's a lot more seasonal food that you can cook with and eat, and the flowers, and I don't know. Yeah, it's a great time.
If you could go on a roller coaster with a colleague from hospital medicine, who would you choose?
Such a fun question.
I know. I was so excited for you to get to this one.
I feel Vivian, I think, do you know, I don't know how much y'all worked with Vivian. Vivian is a gem. Like she's hilarious. And whenever we sit sort of back to back in the tunnel together, and if the two of us are there, people have pointed out that we do like sing a lot. Like we'll be like, I don't know what to do with the sodium. Like we'll just kind of like just like riff a little bit. And so I feel like us like going up, we'll be like singing and be like, I'm really scared, and just like do that. And then when it gets, when it drops and the flips, I just feel like we would have a good time.
For listeners that might not know, it's Dr. Vivian Chen Andrews, who is a phenomenal med-peds hospitalist at Duke University Hospital.
Yes, she's the bomb.
I'm not sure that I've ever met Vivian, and perhaps we should have her on.
I was going to say, future friend of the show, ?
Yes, exclamation point, definitely.
What song would you sing, speaking of singing, at the hospital medicine karaoke night?
Okay, this also brings me back to Vivian, because for the entirety of last year, I don't know why this is going to get some judgment, but Baby by Justin Bieber, like baby, that, for some reason, the like, whoa, whoa, and I can't sing, and I don't know why I'm volunteering that, I like this horrible voice, terrible thought, but I think that that's another thing that we'll sing. And so I think just as, to pay respect to that, I would probably have to sing Baby
And
by
she
J.
might
Beebs.
decide to join you on stage.
Harmonize. She
Yeah.
actually has a good voice. So that'd be
Nice.
good.
Can you please describe your perfect day?
It would be with you, Noelle. Um,
Um,
um, I love mornings and I love a nice sunrise. So I don't really care what happens the rest of the day, but would love to wake up feeling very well rested, like I didn't toss, I didn't turn. I just stayed in my one little spot right before the sunrise, an amazing latte, that I didn't have to do I didn't have to make it, I didn't have to get it, but it just appears next to me. See the sunrise, turn on the TV, only good news, like the world is saved, world hunger is over, like something really happy and positive, because now I just don't watch the morning news, but like something super cheerful. The weather's like a crisp 73, sun, but like some cloud shade so you don't get sunburnt. I get a slow dinner and a slow lunch with some of my best friends. We sit there, 3.5, 4 hour lunch, 3.5, 4 hour dinner. And, maybe like a workout in there somewhere that's I don't feel like I need to pass out during hot yoga. Like that would be a really good day for me.
Telling
that
you,
sounds really nice.
Dungeon Master. Dungeon Master.
I don't even know what that means, Derek, but
We'll
thank
talk
you.
offline. We'll talk
Okay.
offline about that.
Great.
Have you ever had to respond to an in-flight emergency?
Oh, I haven't. I mean, I don't know why I sound sad about it. Like that's probably a good thing, but
No one's died around me.
there have been no babies that want to be born when I'm there. No, I haven't. But it's all, it's a fear. Like I think there was just a
Yeah.
podcast that was released from maybe it was like Core I Am or one of the ones that I subscribed to, but like need to listen to more. But no, I haven't. Have you guys? Am I allowed to ask?
I haven't.
I haven't. My wife likes to joke that people just seem to fall around me. I've never been in flight, but I've had to help many elderly people that have fallen around me and do some basic first aid. But yeah,
They just
thankfully,
swoon.
yeah, I guess so. Thankfully, everybody's been okay after some basic care. But
Traveling's tough.
What's one of your favorite childhood memories?
Okay, when I was in third grade, my dad, he was always like, "Oh yeah, we're not going to Disney World. Like, we're never going to do that." He was grew up super poor, and he was like, "Why would we go to Disney World?" But it was his birthday weekend, and he tells us that he's going to check us out for lunch. And instead, my sister and I were rats, and we look in the back seat and we see suitcases, and we're like, "Oh my goodness, we're not just going to Dad's birthday lunch, like we're going somewhere." And so we even go so far as to unzip the backpack, and it's like my dad, we were horrible. And we had my dad put gloves on top and a ski mat, something. We're like, "Oh, we're going skiing, we're going somewhere cold." Um, and then my dad made us I was such an idiot. He was like, "Okay, girls, where do you think we're going?" And my sister, using her evidence, was like, "We're going skiing, Dad." And I was like, "I think we're going to Disney World." I knew nothing. But we get to the airport and the flight attendant asks, "Okay," and we get to our gate and we're going to Orlando. We go to Disney World and we meet up with my favorite cousins. They're my same age and my sister's same age. And we do the whole thing. We stay in the Magic Kingdom and it was so fun. It was
Oh,
such a great little surprise.
that is a great memory.
Yeah.
It was fun.
That's amazing. The putting the ski, the fact that your dad knew you well enough to say, okay, they're gonna try to spoil the surprise and
Yes.
get into these backpacks, so I need to put decoy stuff on top of their actual stuff.
Right.
That is next level.
I mean,
That's some
did we arrive
respect.
to Orlando? And I was like, "Dad, we don't have bathing suits." And he was like, "Oh, oh shit.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I had to use all that room for the ski goggles.
Yeah, it's fine. You can wear a turtleneck in Disney World. It's fine."
Yeah, you'll be those kids. That's all. That is
Yeah.
awesome.
So
Awesome.
funny.
Well, so I mean that's a good segue. So what did your parents do? If your dad when he grew up in Alabama?
Yeah. Neither of my parents were in medicine when I was growing up, but like funny enough, my mom, she was a music major in college, like classical piano, violin, and then didn't work. She was a pharmaceutical rep, and then when she had us, she didn't work. But then at the same time that my sister was in med school and I was getting my white coat ceremony, my mom went back to school for like to be a nurse practitioner, like the kind of
Oh,
accelerated. And so we had our sweet little white coat ceremonies the same weekend. And so she was a psychiatric, like child psych NP. So she did took care of a lot of kids with like kind of severe autism and behavioral problems. I think we inspired her having all of our crazy kids. And then my dad, he grew up in like also a very big family, like 11 kids. Parents didn't go to college. But they all like kind of were first generation college kids. And he ended up doing scrap metal. So he was in the steel scrap metal industry, like initially as a broker right out of college, and then just sort of went through all the different roles and still does it to this day.
So how did you end up getting into medicine then?
I don't know. I was such an unk, like
It's the
I
word
was
of the
such
day.
a little dork. And I was like, I'm good at math and science and I like people and I want to like help people. So I started like pretty young, like volunteering like in the gift shop, being like, oh yeah, like I'm cool. Like I'm in the hospital. And I just like liked being around where like things were happening, and then started shadowing in high school in the ER, and then became a scribe in college, and was like, oh, I actually really like this. I could deal with blood. I think that was a big concern. But I totally can. And it just sort of fell into place.
Did you have anybody that in particular that influenced you, like a mentor, either in college or at the beginning of med school, that influenced you into going to medicine or hospital medicine?
I mean, there were a lot of people that were like, "Hey, you really ought to like do that or really not do that." And like I think my sister was definitely a big role model for me because she decided sort of later in college, but she's a pediatric anesthesiologist. And so she was a couple years ahead of me in training. And I don't think that I would have gotten in without her. I do
mhm.
think we went to the same college, same med school, and like overlapped a year. And so choosing hospital medicine was sort of like the first thing that I did. I mean, we were very different people, but in terms of like on paper, it was the first deviation. Like she did peds, and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to do peds. I like the old people." But she was very supportive of that. But yeah, she's kind of walked me through every stage, and we still, our lives today are very different, but we still, I don't know, you just kind of get it. Like you understand what it's like to be a doctor and sort of sometimes the impossible weight of that. And so we can still relate on that a lot and obviously speak the same language.
Well, I think that's a good segue into kind of your current job and hospital medicine. Noah, I know you've got a couple of questions on here.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of hard parts to our job, but for you, what do you think the most challenging part of your job right now
Mm,
is?
there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot that's hard. I mean, there's a lot that's good. Um, I'm still like a baby attending. And so I think like when good things happen or people get better, you don't really necessarily associate that with like doing a good job. It's just like,
Mhm.
okay, you like followed the algorithm and people got better. But when bad things happen, it hurts. It just I feel like as an attending, I remember the first patient that like decompensated and I had to like change to DNAR and he like died in 24 hours. And we had done that 100 times in residency. Like you're alone in the ICUs. But I think when you're attending, it hits so hard and you feel that responsibility, even if like you've done everything that you could and everything that you would have done or run it by 100 people and they would have done the same thing. I think just like the insane amount of responsibility that we have it's daunting. It's gotten like I'm 2 years in, so I still feel like such a fetus. But I would say those first like 6 months to a year, like discharging someone and being like, I'm the only doctor that a person has seen. Like this is crazy. Um, it's getting better, but it's still, it's just we have a tough job. We have a lot of responsibility.
What do you think the best part of your job is right now?
I There's so many good things. I think that I didn't know like half of the hospitalists before coming. Like I only knew the people like Derek, like the 4 people that I had on the teaching team, right? So I loved every person that I had worked with, but um it did feel sort of like a black box of like, what is this group like? What is the culture like? Do we work well together? Do we know
Mm.
each other? Does everybody like each other? That sort of unknown. But I think our group is amazingly supportive. I mean, that's been my experience at like when I first started, Tara was like, she knew my next step before I did. She was like checking in 1,000 times, making sure that I like felt supported, that, delivered my first behavioral contract for me on like day 2, called me on my first SRS, which is like an offline discussion. Um, but sort of insanely funny story. Not funny, it's bad, funny. But we have a very supportive group, I think. Like you can call somebody and be like, I need you to bail me out. Like I need help here. I don't know what to do. And I think that's the best part is I think I would not like this job nearly as much if I felt like scared at work or felt like I couldn't ask for help.
Yep,
Awesome.
that's true. No matter how many years out of training you are.
Yeah, I think, having I still, think I like to still think of myself as a young faculty, but
Mhm.
I'll think that forever. No, but having that, the buck stop with you, especially when you're rounding alone, like even when I'm rounding with residents, I'm like, I kind of have a little bit of like think and, when it's like, okay, it's just me is the end of the day. And that's why I'm really lucky in my group, in our workroom, to have like a great group of people to talk to and bounce by ideas. And I think like the group has been so supportive with that. Um, and when, yeah, Gracie mentioned Tara, that's Tara, for those of the listeners who are not familiar, is Tara Spector, Dr. Tara Spector, our director now, at Duke Hospital Medicine, at DUH, future friend of the podcast, question mark. So,
Definitely.
um, you were talking about how you're a new attending, and you've moved into this role, which I alluded to at the beginning of the episode, as the several times the POCUS director, point of care ultrasound. Tell us, how did you get into doing that? I think a lot of people I talk to are either involved in that some way or curious about how to, and there's a lot of initiatives around that. How did you really get into doing that?
Dumb luck. I will say focus, I feel like, is the hot new thing. And like in residency, we had a lot of training in it. But it was something that, again, when you transition to sort of the attending world, we don't have like a ton of POCUS presence like on this side of things, at least like on direct care and stuff. And fortunately, since I do the procedure team, I feel like that kind of keeps some of your ultrasound skills fresh. Like we do those shifts like semi regularly. And so I've had like a personal drive to want to make sure that my skills are sharp, because before I stick a needle in somebody's back or neck or stuff, whatever you name it, I want to make sure I know what I'm looking at. And so it was already something that I was considering getting my chest certification, just to spend some CME money and really focus on and use on the day to day. But then, yeah, this role sort of, I think, came about in the last couple of months. And so I interviewed for the practice, and here we are, ready or not. I think it's going to be actually a really, really fun initiative. And the goal will be to just help our attendings who maybe didn't get a ton of training in residency, or did, but don't really use it now, be able to have a lot more comfortability with really just enhancing the physical exam. I don't think POCUS is like the end all be all, but it is pretty excellent for like volume assessment for the like acute dyspneic patient. There's a lot of good stuff that I think our patients are missing if we're not using ultrasound. So, or we're just delaying care. So I'm excited.
Do you feel like you use it a lot on your day-to-day rounding when you're alone, like, and not on the
Uh,
procedures?
I I try to now that I am in this position because I want to put my money where my mouth is. I will say, like, it's very helpful for challenging volume status. It's very helpful if I want to, like, if the chest X-rays just like are not cutting it and I want more answers. I try to ultrasound somebody every day. That doesn't happen every week. Like, I
Mm.
haven't ultrasounded anybody in the past 2 days. But if I have a clinical question, I think it's good to challenge yourself and do it. And, I'm joining the teaching team in July, and I know the residents are all about it. So I want to make sure that I know what they're doing.
It's awesome. That's a good segue into a question that we have of, you're a young, like I mentioned, thing star and Duke Hospital Medicine. What do you see as the future for hospital medicine, and what do you hope it looks like if those are different?
Oh gosh, that's a big question. I mean, we're a pretty young field, right? Like, we haven't existed for that long. I don't even think my dad really knows what a hospitalist
Yeah.
is. Like, I try to explain, I hope that, I think that, like, our group continues to grow and our group continues to demonstrate that we can take really good care of patients and that we have solid presence, like for PRT, for procedures, for, these specialty lines, like the threat and limb line or the palm line or all of those things. And, I think a potential model is that we do more of that we help sort of medicine is just getting so subspecialized and so specific that I feel like we definitely can help make sure that patients, while they're in the hospital, are still getting like good quality hospital medicine care. So I don't know. Are we going to collaborate more with cards? Are we going to collaborate more with ONC? Are we going to collaborate more with other specialties to try to make sure that we're looking at patients holistically? That would be really cool. I just want to keep my job, Derek. I can't even think that, I'm like,
I don't think you
I
have to
just
worry
look
about that.
forward to the like annual compliance email to be like, whew, okay, I can keep my job for another year. I just do what I'm told.
No, that's great. That's I don't know, a good way to think about it, which I hadn't really thought about it. When medicine becomes so siloed, I think almost a different niche is you're the person that's really versatile and can do a bunch of
Mm.
different things and branch
Mhm.
into. Cool. Well, I've got a few other things I want to get to. So Noel, I know you have I want to pay attention to your time, Gracie. So I know, well, you've got some additional questions too.
Um, what would you say keeps you motivated in your work?
Mm, I'm very inspired by all of y'all. I think like I read your H&Ps. I see how you handled one of my patients on cross cover, and I'm like, dang, that was good. They didn't even know that patient, and they handled that excellently. I think there's a lot of like iron sharpening iron and a lot of just like looking up to people and wanting to be as good as y'all. And so I feel like that kind of keeps me going because
Mhm.
we have a lot of good people in our group, a lot of good doctors that I would trust with my family. And I think, yeah, I'm inspired.
What would you tell, I guess, one of our newest hospitalists about how to keep a balance the work and the life?
Yeah. I think like you're going from residency to attendinghood, and yes, you're not going to be working as many shifts, but you have to sort of understand and anticipate that being a new attending in the first 6 months, 8 months, especially if you're coming from another institution, it's going to be hard. You're going to agonize about 40 milligrams of Lasix versus 60 milligrams of Lasix, way more in July of your attendinghood than you did in June of SAR year. And so I think just like managing expectations that like that is totally normal. It's okay. It will get better. You're still the same doctor that you were a month ago, and it's okay to like call a couple more consults than you maybe would 2 years down the road. But also when you're not at work, live it up because you have worked so hard. And you sort of have to, or at least for me, I felt like I had to relearn what my hobbies were because my hobby was work and my work was work. You know, it was just a lot of like, okay, yeah, I'm cooking to survive, not really for like enjoyment. And like I'm baking because like I like have to for someone's birthday or something, but not just to like experiment and like do new recipes or whatever. So I would tell anybody like who's starting out to like revisit your hobbies, revisit what used to make you happier. Maybe you are cool and already like have a ton of hobbies, but lean into them.
That's such a good one. Derek, I'm excited about this next part because yeah, I hadn't collected some as much stuff. So let's do it.
Okay. But so last time we had when we had Parsa on, did you listen to that podcast?
I didn't listen to the very end. I listened to like the first 30 minutes and was like, crap, he's so good.
Okay,
and
well,
I'm intimidated.
That's good because so what he did was we had him respond to secure chat messages, and then we compared his response to Chat GPT. So I'm going to have you do the same thing. I've got a few questions that I want to get to. So these, for our listeners, these are real secure chats that we have received on Crosscover. And we are going to have Gracie respond to these in real time, and then we're going to have them compare her responses with Chat GPT's responses and see how those compare.
I feel like I'm going to get in trouble.
And again, not live. We can edit any of this out. Spoiler alert, we won't. Okay. So these are some secure chat messages that I've got on Crosscover. So just imagine you're on Crosscover. You're covering patients. These patients you're not familiar with. Okay. You get a secure chat. Hey, do we need to keep doing bladder scans? Q12, his GCS is 3.
Okay. Are they on GenMed 24? Because that is important because, end of life bladder scanning can be, that can be quite uncomfortable. I would say if they're not on GenMed 24, they don't have any urologic abnormalities, then I would probably want to ask, well, maybe the first question is, has their GCS always been 3? How long has the GCS been 3?
Yeah, no, it's actually pretty similar to, I was surprised ChatGPT, the first response is it asks if the patient is comfort care focused, which yes,
Okay.
yes, this patient,
Wow.
yeah, which I was impressed by. This patient was thankfully.
Oof.
But yeah, so for those that are not familiar, they're listening. GenMed 24 is the comfort care team. And it said, thanks for checking. If patient's comfort focused and no longer pursuing aggressive interventions, okay to discontinue routine bladder scans, unless concern for discomfort or retention can monitor clinically. But
That's better.
I was going to say that was pretty good, but it then goes on to say, if the patient is not comfort care, but clearly profoundly neurologically impaired, it says, thanks. If no issues with retention and scans have been unremarkable, okay to discontinue routine Q12 bladder scans and monitor output.
But nothing about the GCS
it just accepted
of 3.
the GCS of 3.
They're not breathing, but like if you want to just,
yeah,
not scan.
And then I do like ChatGPT has obviously picked up what I'm putting down here, and it says it adds a color commentary at the end. It says, this is one of those messages where the subtext is, we're scanning a completely unresponsive patient's bladder at 2 a.m. because nobody ever discontinued the order. So
they're not wrong.
Yeah, it's pretty good picking this up. All right. Similar, this is one that Noelle got, which it says a secure chat that says stat. Patient satting 85%. Patient seems to be active passing.
Actively passing?
It says active passing.
Sorry, it did. I think it did say
okay, actively passing.
Sorry, I might have missed.
Okay, that's a little better. I'll take that.
I feel like that's like not a chat. Like I'm kind of speechless. That's not like again, are they supposed to be passing? Are we intervening upon anything? Or, is this a comfort care situation? Are you putting them on oxygen? I have so many questions.
I had so many questions also. Are they passing out? Are they passing blood
Are they dying? Yeah.
Are they dying?
Yeah. Are they passing gas? We don't know.
Are they passing?
What are they passing? Are they passing their biology tests? Like, what is happening?
If you responded that would be amazing. Yeah, no, similarly, this one, yeah, it picked up that the patient was probably comfort care and asked and says, like, I'm coming to bedside, which is good. Appropriate escalation. And then it said, this is one of those messages that changes the whole tone. Everything else stops and you stand up immediately and the hospital gets very quiet for a minute.
That's a little
spooky.
Yeah, like I don't know
guys,
about
that was not my response at all.
Yeah.
And what was your response, Noelle?
Call me when he's died.
Yeah, this was a patient that was on comfort care. You're correct.
Put him on oxygen.
Yeah.
I see he has morphine ordered.
Yes.
Call me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And make them comfortable. And that's what it says, here too. It says, if the patient is known comfort care, it says, thanks for the update. If actively passing, focus on comfort measures. Okay to use oxygen for comfort. The morphine Ativan per comfort orders if needed for dyspnea and agitation and stuff. So that's
Chat is so nice.
That was pretty good. This one I get constantly, so I want to see what your go-to response is. It says, hey, doc.
Honestly, Derek, I get hi Gracie a lot. So I do get, burn.
Ooh.
I do. I get hey Gracie. And I'm like,
I get hi Derek a
or
lot
hey
too.
Grace. Hey Grace, because,
Yeah.
they don't know me like that. Hi doc. Anything else, Derek, or just hi doc?
No, that's just the message, and then there's nothing else after.
Wow. I think they want to be friends. I don't know. Hi, how's it going? How are you?
I get this secure chat all the time, and obviously they meant to keep typing something, and then they got distracted, and then just didn't finish. And so the question is, do you follow up on that? Do you give a hey ?
Maybe just like it and just be like,
I saw
hey.
it if they come back to it.
Yeah. If it's important enough, they're gonna message me again. But we get too many chats to just say hi back.
Yeah.
This is not how that works. Like, give me the info.
You don't respond.
I'm
Hey.
definitely ignoring that.
Okay.
Full out ignore.
You don't give the hey. Why?
Hi.
ChatGPT was pretty funny. It said, realistically, the response is usually, hey, what's up? Or if you've been burned before, it says, hi, what can I help with? And then it says, or the seasoned night hospitalist version, eyeballs emoji.
Arthur Taylor.
I wish you could do the eyeballs emoji. That would be amazing.
We would have a lot of SRSs if there were more than what the emojis are that we've been given.
Yeah. Yep. I forgot to ask, what emoji do you want to most see added? The secure chat.
So we have a sad, we have a laughing, we have a heart, we have a thumbs up. Do we have a thumbs down?
No
dislike.
Maybe like a thumbs down. So then, because you can, they're like, hey, can we do this? And I'm busy, I'll just like it. But if they're like, do we need to do this? You can just say no. I don't know. I'm all about I do like the not having to
get pinged. Yeah.
Yeah. And just do it. Because then you say, oh, no, you don't have to. And they're like, okay, thanks. And it's just it's too many chats.
This is one that a colleague of ours gave me today. Said, is the patient allowed to have a mini fridge in their room?
Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. And I would say yes, only if I can put my Diet Coke in there. And then they're good. And if I can on rounds, just pop my little rounding Diet Coke. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not the fire marshal. I'm not sure.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, it said something similar. I'm not aware of any contraindications. Probably want to check with the charge nurse. But then it says, this is such a perfect overnight page because it has the active classic hospitalist thought of, why is this being decided by me?
1 a.m. page, stat.
Yeah.
Fridge.
Well, that's good. We're running up on time here. So we'll couple last questions, I think, to bring it all home. Noelle, take it away.
What do you think makes hospital medicine worth?
As a career or just at Duke?
As a career, yeah.
I think we're generally pretty happy people. I think we have a decent breadth, but also the capacity and flexibility, at least a where we work to do other things if you want to. And you can be a generalist, but you can also try to hone in on something else that you like. And I think that there's a lot of opportunity to grow in whatever sort of arena that you want to do. So I think if you're somebody that um, likes a lot of different things and is passionate about a lot of things, but doesn't necessarily know exactly what route you want to do right out of the gate, then I think it's really worth it because you have a lot of flexibility and time. I think it's a pretty decent work-life balance as, a single mother of a dog. I can't speak to the other aspects of work-life balance, but I think it's great. When you're on, you're on. When you're off, you're off. And it's awesome.
Yeah. Can you talk about what brings you joy outside of the hospital?
Like a lot of things, my people. I think I've made like a really lovely community here in Durham of old friends, of medium old friends, of new friends, and I love to bring people together. I love to host things at my house. I haven't done that in my new place yet, but I think just having a community and being around people that I love brings me a lot of joy.
Nice. All right, Derek, you want to close this up?
Yeah, my last question, which I know we asked Parsa as well, of like, if you could talk to the CEO of Duke or, the higher ups, the powers that be, the president, and you could like to impart or message to pass along request, what would it be?
It's hard to imagine ever being in the room where it happens. Again,
This is your chance.
I'm just trying to get that like compliance email to like upload my CV so I know like I'm good. I hope that they see our value. I know that we probably aren't I don't know this, but I could imagine we're not the biggest money makers in the hospital compared to like a neurosurgeon or a cardiothoracic surgeon.
I can confidently tell you we don't make as much money as neurosurgeons. I can't tell you that.
No, I don't think we make as much money for the hospital, but I think like the culture and the safety of the hospital and the reason why patients, get really good care is, I think, in a large part to the advocacy of our group. And I think if you took us away, we would suffer. And so I hope that they see that. I don't know how to objectively prove that without like formalizing a strike, but which I don't recommend. But I think we add a lot of value,
Awesome.
and I hope they see that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. This was so fun. I hope it was fun for you as well as fun for us.
Yeah, this was so fun, guys.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us. It's been Well-Rounded, our Duke Hospital Medicine podcast, episode 2. And thanks as always to Kevin White, one of our Duke hospitalists, for our intro and outro music. Be sure to give it a listen. And I hope you'll tune in for our next episode. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Gracie.
Thanks. You guys are the best. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, guys.